The Victoria Sponge, it's back to the track for what promises to be one of the most exciting races of the weekend.
It's the Whitsun Trophy for sports car racing prototypes 1963 to 1966. Some familiar names, some familiar cars clearly on the front rows of the grid. Gary Pearson, Chris Goodwin, Jay Esterer, Roger Wills, twice a runner-up. Low sun could be a problem. You can see Jay Esterer there, just shielding his eyes. And we're away, and a slow start by Chris Goodwin in the red McLaren Chevrolet. Everyone else away safely, and Jay Esterer into the lead. Chris Goodwin is second, Gary Pearson third, and then in the orange McLaren Chevrolet, Roger Wills.
And we're riding on board with Chris Goodwin, who actually works for McLaren these days, but this is a 1960s car. These are great Can-Am cars with big V8 American engines in the back, and the man from pole position, Gary Pearson, was the slowest away, but he's now attacking Chris Goodwin, making that third place into a second. Gary Pearson goes through to second. Jay Esterer in the American Chinook, still the leader.
And you can see the troublesome sun there. It's a beautiful afternoon for racing, but there are problems as Roger Wills now looks on the inside of Chris Goodwin, just shuts the door, but it may not be for too much longer.
Well, this was the start, and you see huge wheel spin from Jay Esterer, but he was the quickest away. We ride with Chris Goodwin, who does get away in second place, but it's Gary Pearson on pole who is slowest away of the front row.
Jay Esterer there, seemingly being caught by Gary Pearson, who's come through on the inside. Beautiful manoeuvre, but Esterer may come back in. Bit of a moment as he loses a bit of control there, and Gary Pearson eases away further into the lead. That may play into the hands of Chris Goodwin, and also Roger Wills, who's now chasing Chris Goodwin and looking to come through on the inside under braking.
Yes, Roger Wills alongside Chris Goodwin, the orange car alongside the red one as they go down into Woodcote Corner. Roger Wills has the inside, has third place indeed. Still the Chinook second, still the Lola the leader as they queue up to come through the chicane.
We've got Keith Arlers there coming through in fifth place in the Cooper Monaco, up from row 3. And now Esterer is coming through on the inside of Gary Pearson, he's into the lead.
A fantastic manoeuvre by Jay Esterer, who almost touched Gary Pearson, didn't quite. They're really expert drivers, and a big spin there for one of the back markers.
Roland Goethe there, going through at about 100 miles an hour through the first part of St Mary's. Back up now with the front runners, and Roger Wills coming through on the inside now of Gary Pearson. Lovely drift, and he's got the inside line and will hold it.
A very determined move by Roger Wills. Gary Pearson had to nibble away at the grass to let him go through, so Roger Wills and the orange McLaren up to second place. Gary Pearson in the white Lola demoted to third. Still Jay Esterer way out in front in the Chinook.
And how long will it be before Roger Wills is actually nibbling a little bit more into that lead? We're riding with Chris Goodwin now as we come through the chicane. Ooh, he clipped it and ran a little bit wide as well.
These were phenomenally successful and exciting cars in the mid-60s. Big pushrod American V8 engine in the back, English chassis built by McLaren and Lola, with the occasional interloper from North America, like the Chinook, which is now in the lead, but not for long because Roger Wills is attacking.
It's Canada versus New Zealand, and at the moment it's just Jay Esterer holding Roger Wills at bay, but maybe not for much longer, and Gary Pearson is also joining the action too. Here comes Roger Wills, Wills win, and they're through. Roger Wills takes the lead. Jay Esterer in second, and Gary Pearson closing too. Maybe not that far clear either, as they come up towards St Mary's. Here comes Jay Esterer, and Gary Pearson through. Jay Esterer loses the back end almost.
Yes, sideways moment for Jay Esterer there. That's allowed Chris Goodwin in fourth place to get a little bit closer. We ride with Esterer once again. About 165 miles an hour these cars are doing down the Lavant Straight.
There was the move which cost Jay Esterer third place and almost falling into the lap of Chris Goodwin. Roger Wills then in the lead, seemingly comfortable as much as you can be comfortable in this form of racing, and with the competition so intense.
Yes, Gary Pearson really threatening. Esterer there to wait to see what happens. Pearson in the middle, but that Lola very quick. Now we ride once more with Esterer. Esterer trying to go down the inside. There was nowhere for him to go. He got on the grass. Somehow he managed to catch the slide. A brilliant save by Jay Esterer, but that's allowed Goodwin behind him to get very close indeed as they go down the straight towards Woodcote Corner.
And there are back markers in their way. This could be an opportunity for those behind Roger Wills to make a move. There's Jay Esterer tracking Roger Wills, who's got 2 Lotus 30s there, almost collected just by one of the chicanes there. He goes through, he's really furious there with Paul Middlehurst, but now Jay Esterer is coming through and goes through on the inside, goes through between them. 2 cars, Roger Wills and Jay Esterer.
Yes, amazingly, Jay Esterer used the back marker to go between the back marker and Gary Pearson and make up a place. A fantastic move by Esterer.
There we see it again with Jay Esterer absolutely on the limit, collecting that car because it could easily have spun out of control. But now Esterer is right behind Roger Wills once more.
So Roger Wills the leader, Esterer trying to go one side then the other. Gary Pearson keeping a watching brief. Gary Pearson now comes down inside Jay Esterer at Woodcote Corner. These cars are absolutely on the limit. There's nothing to choose between them.
Absolutely sensational. Wonderful racing. No wonder so many people just flock to this. Simon Hadfield, I think it is, yes, is out, abandoning ship. He wasn't there among the front runners, and here they are once more. Nose to tail. Roger Wills from Gary Pearson. Oh, he's run wide. He's gone wide at Lavant, and Pearson's through, Esterer's through, and so too is Chris Goodwin.
Yes, he just ran wide coming out of Lavant Corner, did Roger Wills, and went all the way to the back of this quartet. He's got it all to do again. We see it once more. Gary Pearson pushing him under immense pressure. He just slid wide, all 4 wheels on the grass, and that was another brilliant save by Roger Wills. He managed to get the car back onto the tarmac and didn't hit anybody.
So having led, he's now back at the queue. A podium position, though, still within his grasp because he's challenging Chris Goodwin. Oh, he's gone off. Chris Goodwin run a little bit wide, and Roger Wills back into 3rd now. Extraordinary turnaround, but still up front. Pearson from Esterer, tracking all the way, last lap.
Yes, we ride with Chris Goodwin, and as he comes out of the chicane, he runs wide over the grass, and that allowed the orange McLaren to go storming by.
Gary Pearson coming through Woodcote, just the chicane to negotiate. Jay Esterer tracking him all the while, trying to push as much as possible. But through comes Gary Pearson, and Gary Pearson started from pole, let the lead slip, but he came back at the end. The checkered flag falls, and it's his 10th win at the revival meeting. And celebration and relief. What a wonderful race. Any one of those leading 4 could have won. Gary Pearson eventually did in the Lola Chevrolet, then Jay Esterer, Roger Wills, Chris Goodwin, covered by just 3.4 seconds.
To race so closely with Roger and Jay, and watch these guys sliding around. And Jay, I must say, these things are difficult to drive, difficult to slide. Jay's car control is phenomenal. It was just great, driving behind Rog. If he hadn't run wide, it did get really slippery at the back end. I was struggling to get the car turned there. Roger hadn't put 2 wheels on the grass. I don't think I could have passed him, but that was great.
As the sun